what I'm curious to start with is in a period of great uncertainty and volatility in, let's say, Canada and the US, but in particular the US, um, how are you seeing this play out in your coaching conversations with educators, with school leaders, systems leaders? How are your conversations going these days? Are you noticing a difference in the last 6 months?
I would say most definitely. It really does harken back to COVID days, COVID times, right? Where that level of stress and uncertainty were at an all-time high. We don't know how to do school this way, kind of thinking. Right now, what I'm noticing is there's a bit of an increase in stress and people questioning some of their skills, some of their go-to strategies or even strategic plans that they had in place. And I'm noticing a bit more openness to exploring new ways of leading that I find really exciting and hopeful for our leaders who are really open to exploring what's possible if they expand their creativity and innovation.
I never thought about it that way. It's wonderful to hear that difficult times can lead to innovation or new ways of thinking, right? So that's
Truly. Yeah.
super interesting insight there. Um, in terms of the mindset shifts, where are you trying to take some of the school leaders from where they're at to where you think they need to be from a mindset shift?
Yeah. Again, knowing that as coaches, we have to be so nimble with whoever the leader is in front of us at that time. Their context is everything. So every leader has kind of their own thumbprint that they bring to coaching. So I could give a couple of examples. For some leaders, they may be dealing with the mindset of kind of habitual thinking. We're used to solving problems this way, or this team is charged in solving the technology or the AI challenges. So it could be that mindset of, what might it take to become a little unstuck? What might be helpful for you to consider, maybe one group of leaders. Another one is just that shift towards being really curious and staying curious longer. I think as educators, most educators are super curious by nature. But with these uncertain times, I just feel like there's this opportunity to not jump in to fix as much. At least that's what I'm hearing more and more. Let's not be too quick to solve because we might be missing out on some creative problem solving or innovation if we try to solve too quickly or go to fixing a problem too quickly. So that whole idea of experimentation and staying curious is definitely a mindset shift that continues to come up. Um,
Again, I'm pleasantly surprised because I guess I had preconceived notions that your coaching conversations would start with help.
there's that.
There's chaos out there. Like there's this sort of narrative that's portrayed, at least, where I'm seeing it from Canada, that everything is in flux. But, when is it not, I suppose? But you're actually, are you getting some of that as well, and you're turning this into a positive, or when you sit down with them and have a discussion, it's far more about maybe we have a little bit of liberty here in this chaos to think a little differently. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what I'm
I
hearing?
think it I think it is so both and, Max. That's such a good point. I'd say when people, coaches, excuse me, when leaders, when whether it's principals, superintendents, central office leaders, when they first arrive in a coaching session, oftentimes it's that hair on fire. I don't feel confident. I feel like I'm walking in somebody else's shoes. They're not mine. I don't know if I want to be in this job right now or for much longer. What might be an exit strategy? So right away. And we use a whole variety of strategies just to try to lower the temperature and acknowledge the feeling first and foremost, but also then as we progress in a coaching conversation, you brought up, what are the biggest mindset shifts? So when we get to the mindset shifts, the emotion and the temperature is much more grounded, much more centered, so that they can explore both their head and their heart a little bit more clearly with clear eyes. But definitely, I would say a good 90% of the time, people are showing up with, ah, this is hard right now. Yeah.
Let me drill down a little bit deeper into this in these periods of uncertainty, because if there's one thing I know, it's that school leaders and school district leaders are asked to have all the answers. Most like to maintain a sense of control. And when we look at factors such as the rise of AI, funding uncertainties, policy uncertainties, serious uncertainties in both Canada and the US, particularly the US, how are you using coaching techniques to give them a sense of that they still can control, that they still can lead in a way that allows them to maintain that sense of control? And I'm wondering, or is it more about letting go of control? Which direction do you take them in?
Mm-hmm. It it's a great question, Max. It really does depend on the leader, their their ability to let go of control, how much they need to let go of control in order to be a little bit more nimble to solve some problems differently. I would say probably what it looks like to support them would be number one would be the coach's presence, their ability to stay really focused on what that leader needs at this moment in time. Is it exploring a mindset around holding on too tight to their expertise, their power, ultimately their control? Um, and is that a mindset that they want to explore on the other side of being more invitational, more curious, more open, more inquiry based? So that's something that is really kind of massaged during a coaching session based on what the leader is bringing to the coaching session. So it really does vary. It definitely varies. But the issue of power and control, our leaders, our principals, our superintendents, they have been given so much acknowledgement for the gifts that they have, the strengths that they have, for being decisive, for being proactive, for being culture builders, right? So to now kind of twist their thinking a little bit based on the data they're getting from people, relationships, schools, school board, it can be tricky and delicate. And I think one of our roles as coaches is to just really listen deeply and listen for those moments where there's openness to consider what's possible with that relationship, with that team, with that policy.